Sick. Hella.
Hello.
Okay.
Welcome back to
Cut it again real fast. Well, I want to do this real fast.
What do you want to do?
Welcome, Wastelanders! Today we're talking about Fallout. Did that pop your eardrums enough? I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it was fine. It wasn't that loud at all.
But we got the Pip-Boy on the screen. It's coming out this Friday. It is Fallout time. I'm so McFreakin' excited.
And I'm like fine. I'm existing.
It really boggles my mind. Because normally we're really hype on like the same stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I was like, yo, I'm so fucking excited for Fallout. And you were like, yeah, it's cool. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean?
I never played any of them. I tried to play Fallout New Vegas one time, and I left like the starting area, and I was like level 2, and then I ran into some guy that was like level 27, and he kept like attacking me. And I was like, I don't know what to do, and then I just kind of like stopped, and I just never went back to play it again.
That's fair. I've been talking to a lot of people online since this is coming out. A lot of people are trying Fallout for the first time. And I've seen a bunch of people be like, I don't know how to play this game. And I'm like, did you like get the main quest? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, just like start walking towards the main quest and you will go do something else. Something else will happen and you'll never finish the fucking game. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, you played Skyrim, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, it's Skyrim. It's Skyrim with guns.
Yeah.
Just wander around. Like, there's not... It's truly an RPG. Fallout, I've played 3, New Vegas. I'm playing 4 right now. I tried playing 76, but my PS4 Slim can't handle it, and it gave me motion sickness. Ooh. So... we're going to see when the Steam Deck gets here, if it can run it. Because I think it'd be fun to play Fallout with people. That idea is super fun. But this set is super fucking hype. I think they genuinely slam dunked it. I think this is like one of the best Universes Beyond things we've gotten so far.
Yeah. Nothing of the 3, I guess 4. Well, I guess Lord of the Rings is the best one for me, but
yeah,
of like the
you
commander,
can't really beat that.
Of the commander deck ones, I think Warhammer was the best. Like that made me like hype. Like I don't play Warhammer, but that made me want to like get into Warhammer. I saw like those cards and I was like, I'm about to drop $1,000 on little guys.
I'm buying little plastic dudes now,
but I never did. Thank God. But
that's okay. I did. You can come over.
But Fallout's like a little bit down below. It's kind of cool. It's better than Doctor Who. Doctor Who was a disaster for me. Like, I mean, it's really good. It was really well made cards, but just like there's so many words on all the cards, and I didn't know what any of it like was in reference to. So it was just a bunch of shit for like no reason for me. So it just that product didn't work at all for me. I just skipped it. I bought a collector booster just because there was one in front of me, and I have a problem, but...
I think I might have bought one pack from it as well. It was cool. I just felt like it was really mechanic heavy, which is also not like a bad thing, but it is like, it can be hard to follow, especially when you're doing like a bunch of suspend and time counter stuff. Super cool. Yeah. Really works for the IP, but like it is just mechanically a little bit harder than being like, I'm going to play this 2/2 Astartes warrior with vigilance and he's just going to hit you in the face until you kill him.
Yeah, that's cool. Or the Tyranids are cool as shit.
Yes, yeah. And those decks are just like going as wide as you can. You're just making armies. Like they're all like that, which is really fun and just easy to play. I feel like these kind of fall in the same category. I watched the Spike Feeders play them and seeing the way that they all play. They're just easy. Like the mechanics wise, it's pretty easy to understand. I think maybe like the most equipment and auras, mill, attack, basically, like attack triggers or like token making, and then the energy deck, which I feel like the energy deck is the one that might require the most mental capacity when piloting, purely just because there's more choices to make, from what I saw, but they're all really cool. But I guess I think, what's the price on Pip-Boy right now? Because I think that's like actually one of the most expensive cards in the whole
$16
set of base.
And that's pre-order pricing? It'll probably crash. What do you think of Pip-Boy?
I think it's fine. I don't think it's worth that much. I think it's cool. I think the check map ability might be a little overhyped at the moment. I think that's like why people are going so hard for it.
Yeah, let me read it real fast. So Pip-Boy 3000, 1 mana for an artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, choose one. Draw a card, then discard a card. Or sort inventory, which is kind of nice. Do you do that a lot in Fallout? Do you sort your inventory?
Oh, yeah.
Pick a perk. Put a +1 counter on that creature. And check map. Untap up to 2 target lands. And it's got equip 2.
Yeah. Pay 1, equip 2 is really solid. Those are like really solid.
This feels like the 101st, the 101st card in like every single deck. I feel like it goes in like no decks, because of just how generic it is. Like, if you're going like just full synergy, this does nothing for you unless you're like in a +1 counter deck. It's probably good in that. Like I might like this in Falco because it gets a counter.
That would be cool
on Falco and ramps. I don't know.
Yeah, I see it being like, in all honesty, a control deck thing, maybe a little bit, because it's 1 mana, 2 to equip. You play your spells on your turn, you equip it to an evasive creature, either like a core that can't be blocked, or you equip it to like a bird token. You attack with that, you check the map, untap 2 lands so you have counterspell magic up, and then you go. I think it kind of falls in that territory a little bit. Obviously, if you're a deck that is focused on attacking, this is better than other options, Like, you could play Bag of Holding, or you could play this, and this gives you more options than just, like, discarding and getting some cards back. But it's not, I agree. It's definitely like the 101st, 102nd card. It's like I'm going to want to try and put it in every deck, but it won't make every deck purely because it's just like utility.
Yeah.
But it depends on what the rest of the deck is doing. The utility works,
Yeah, because you need your deck to attack. You need attackers, and not every deck does that. Like, I mean, you'll maybe do like an Alpha Strike at the end, but like you're not like just attacking every turn. Sometimes you're just dirtling and like sacrificing stuff. Like Aristocrats deck, you probably want to play this. But if you care about any of the modes, so like if you care about looting, that seems pretty decent. If you care about counters, or if you care just about making things bigger or commander damage, that seems okay. It's a way to get your commander bigger. And then the untapped lands just kind of goes in every deck. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I want to play with it and see what it feels like, because the other thing is you could put this in Yawgmoth and just have it be part of the recursion stuff. You know what I mean? Give Yawgmoth the Pip-Boy 3000, and then when he attacks and he's got protection from humans, just swing into someone who has only humans, you know what I mean? Or mostly humans. Get into chip damage, discard Grave Titan or something, reanimate it, and then you just start cooking some more. It could be cool. I think it's a fun card. I definitely think it's overvalued at the moment. I don't think it's going to be like a year from now. People are going to be like, I can't believe they've printed Pip-Boy.
Yeah, it's not the One Ring.
No, God, no. Yeah, it's very fair, and it's very fun. It does what the Pip-Boy does. It
Yeah,
does
the
everything.
flavor seems pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's the big home run with this set is the flavor for everything is just like really solid. They worked when we were at MagicCon, and we're going to do maybe a mini-sode about that here soon. But during the preview, it was cool because they worked with a couple of the designers from Fallout. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like the people that worked on it had all played Fallout growing up too. So there's like a lot of attention to detail in the way that stuff works. And there's a lot of little jokes and stuff. So it's very fun. So are we talking, how do you say this name?
Caesar?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the game says Caesar too. I've heard so many people go, oh, I can't wait for the Kaiser's Legion deck. Huh?
I don't know. I think
Are you
it's
going to get a
Caesar.
Kaiser chicken salad?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Caesar. What do you
sure
know? What
it's Caesar.
Do you know what game he's from?
Yeah, he's from New Vegas.
Oh, okay. Is he like the main bad guy in New Vegas?
So with Fallout, no one is ever truly just the main bad guy. Okay. Everyone has motives, and everyone kind of sucks.
Sick.
But Caesar is like inherently probably like from the outside one of the most bad guys because there's a bunch of factions vying for governmental control, and his version of it is like peak Roman Empire, which is just like on the outside is super awful because you find people like crucified in different villages where the Legion has come through, and it's like really fucked up. But when you talk to him, he also just wants like an authority to like give people the structure to live their lives. So it's just basically like authoritarianism. But when you talk to him, they all have like this idea where it's like, it's really not that bad. It's just like if people got along with us, it would be good because we've got a good thing going. And you're like, okay.
But if you don't fuck with us, we don't fuck with you. And that's...
Yeah, we do
bad.
not fuck with you.
Got it.
And that's why it's all sacrificing too, because it's all for like the greater good.
And for the flow of the episode, we're just gonna talk about the main commanders. So like the 8 3-color legends that can be your commander, and then we'll have some couple cards we think are interesting. So right now we're talking about Caesar Legion's Emperor, 1 red, white, and black for a 4/4 human soldier. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, choose 2. Wow, choose 2. I thought it was choose 1. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, choose 2 is really good.
Create 2 1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste that are tapped and attacking. Why do they have haste if they're tapped and attacking? You draw a card and you lose a life. And Caesar Legion's Emperor deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent. Seems really good. It's just like pretty generic. I'm attacking your face, like Mardu aggro, which is cool. I want a Mardu aggro deck right now. So this seems like it might be pretty good.
This would definitely be solid. A lot of the cards in this deck that aren't reprints, that are like newer cards, are the squad cards. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of like making a bunch of tokens of different types of creatures.
Go wide.
Yeah, which is fun. But then it's also like the powder gainers card. So it's like 2 in a red. When it enters, you destroy an artifact, squad 2. So you can pay an extra 2 any amount of times and destroy extra artifacts on top of that, as well as getting like a 3/2 body for each one. Mm-hmm. I think the reason the tokens might have haste is just in case you do any like
extra combat.
Like untap extra combat, or like they're mana dorks for some reason, because then if you can untap them, but if they don't have haste, they can't be tapped again. Won't be tapped again. But it's like,
maybe there's another effect in. There's another card that makes those same tokens, and it wants them to have haste, and they just reused them. They do that a lot.
Yeah.
Or it's like just they use the same token over a couple cards.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. But I think it's a good card.
Yeah, it's cool. If I was gonna get a precon, I would probably get this one. This one seems cool because I have this like idea in my head for. I want a Tymna Mardu deck where it's just attacking, and so it's just I turn shit sideways and you die, and I draw cards off of it, like Tymna Bruce. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, and just put a chunk of these cards in there.
Yeah. Or just buy the precon and then put them in the thing and clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Clean up the mana base and stuff. That would go hard. Something. There's a couple of... well, they don't have the triumphs in there, but they do have some of the tap 3-color lands. Yeah. Cool card. It's also like that last thing is so... It's crazy that you can make the 2 1/1s and then also deal... at least on that face value, 2 damage to face. But like by the time you're doing that last ability, you're probably dealing way more damage than just the 2 tokens that you created. But the fact that you can do both of those at once is kind of cool.
Also seems really good. In addition to Heavens as 1 deck, if a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So you can sack like 2 things. Or you can get like 4 things.
Sack 2 things, choose 4 things, yeah.
Yeah, so you sack 1 thing, and then you make 2 1/1 soldiers, and you draw a card, and then you can sack one of those soldiers for the second ability when it's on the stack.
Yeah.
That seems really good.
Make 2 more soldiers and then deal lightning bolt something.
Yeah. And it seems really good with the greatest card of all time. Loyal Apprentice. I just want...
That's in the deck.
Oh, wait, is it in the deck already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's a reprint in it. Yeah.
Lit. Yeah, that totally makes sense. This is just one of the best cards ever. This card's so good.
It's really good, yeah.
I'm a slut for Loyal Apprentice. Next up...
Yeah, it's a good card.
We got Dog Meat. Ever Loyal.
Dog meat.
I don't know why... Why is he called Dog Meat? Do you eat him?
No. There's been a dog since Fallout 1, and that dog's name has just always been Dog Meat. So
weird.
Anytime there's a dog companion in Fallout, his name is Dog Meat.
Cool. He looks nice.
Yeah. I don't know the exact reason, but he's just always around.
Just a classic dog. So it's a 3/3 for Naya. Red, green, and white. When Dog Meat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards, then return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. And a junk token is like a treasure or a clue or a food. It's like one of those little shitter things you keep making. And it's an artifact with tap, sack it, exile the top card of your library. You may play this card this turn, activate only as a sorcery. Seems pretty good. Like junk tokens seem pretty good.
They do. I wish it didn't have activate only as a sorcery, but that's okay. Whatever.
I get it though. It definitely makes him like tame. Still good, but because it's free card advantage, but tame.
Yeah.
He seems okay. Like the ETB seems a little weird. I was looking through the cards and there does seem to be a good amount of stuff to like get non-equipment and auras back from your graveyard. Because I don't know. I feel like you're gonna do this Dog Meat ETB and you're gonna whiff. You're not gonna get an aura enchantment, and then you just milled 5 of your cards away for no reason. In my brain, that's exactly what's gonna happen every single time. I mean, in a perfect world, this card would work great, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it has the worst odds to hit, but it
is 5.
I wish it was it's not hard to, it's hard to repeat. I don't think the deck has any blink stuff in it, and I think if you swapped in like an ephemerate or something, you know, just that you could get that ETB another time or two without having to like actually have it die and recast it and let the commander tax go up, that would help a lot too. It's definitely not insane inherently by itself. It's more like it's just a Naya enchantment deck, and this gives you card advantage in the command zone if you want.
Yeah, and it mills, like, it's just an initial, like, card draw. It's just like, here's some generic card advantage. You have shit in your graveyard you can do whatever you want with. You get something returned to your hand, so you basically draw a card. You kind of draw 2 cards-ish worth of shit, maybe. And then if you have something, like you have something suited up already, then you play Dogmeat, and then you attack. Like, I don't know, maybe turn 4 this. So you play an equipment on turn 3, you play something on turn... Or play equipment on turn 2, play something on turn 3, equip it, and then play Dogmeat, and then attack, get junk. Seems like a good amount of value if it all goes well.
Yeah, definitely a more open-ended commander.
Did they play this
compared to like Caesar?
Yeah, definitely more open-ended. Did they play Dogmeat on Spike Feeders?
Yeah, they played all 4 face commanders.
How did Dogmeat do?
And solid, really good. Dogmeat was in it till the very end.
But
the only thing was that it does seem it's like a very all in on one creature deck. Like it did seem
Voltron.
Like he was, like he was hitting way more. He was playing more artifacts and auras than anything else. So I do think the hit rate of the first ability is really solid, but I think for like if you did like a $10 upgrade thing, putting a couple blink tech in there just to get more of that would be sick. Can you pull up, I don't know if either of us are going to talk about it, but just for this deck, I think it's kind of cool and important. Could you pull up that inventory management card? Because this is also cool. So, like, if you were to blink, say you've got everything on Dogmeat and you were going to blink it to get that 5 cards again, you could cast this on top of the ephemerate or something, move all of that stuff to another creature that you have so you can still swing that turn with it instead of having to, like, you know, lose those auras and also recast everything or re-equip everything. So this card is really cool. So it's inventory management. It's a red and a white for an instant with split second. So as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. And says for each aura and equipment you control, you may attach it to a creature you control. So just like, it feels like super big brain protection.
Yeah, split second does a lot on this card. They've been doing more and more split second in Commander stuff because it's really good. It's like you can't fucking interact with it. It's cool. Like that Legolas card.
Yeah. They also printed Vats, which is a 4-mana like pseudo board wipe that also has split second in this set, which is really a good card. But yeah, I just thought that card goes really hard if you were to blink Dogmeat and just move all that stuff over to another creature, you know, and just keep it going.
Yeah.
But it's a dog in the command zone too.
Yeah, he's
you
cute.
can't really
I like
be
looking
too
at him.
upset about
I like
that.
his little my grandma's dog always had the bandana.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's really cute. I love that.
Next up,
who we got next?
Dr. Madison Lee.
Dr. Madison Lee.
Jeskai. Blue, white, red. For a 2/3. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get an energy counter. Tap. Pay an energy. Target creature gets +1/+1, gains trample, and haste until end of turn. Tap. Pay 3 energy. Draw a card. Tap, pay 5 energy. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This card seems more we've talked about this before, but this seems like more of an artifact deck than an energy deck, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when it was coming out, they're like, we're bringing back energy. and it doesn't really seem like they did looking at it. Like there is some energy stuff, but it's just kind of like a weird, like looking at the precon, it's a mix of artifact stuff and energy stuff. So I think if you just soup this up just as an artifact deck, and then you just have energy counter stuff just for the value, like you just cast a bunch of artifacts, get a bunch of energy, and then tap it on tapper and like draw like 3 cards, and then like do stupid artifact stuff. That seems pretty good.
Yeah. Everything you cast in that deck is going to make you an energy. So even if you didn't use any other energy in the whole deck, you're still going to be absolutely able to use the ability and like keep chugging.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not like an energy deck because like if you look at a lot of those other cards, there's like a ton of just creatures that have energy, and there's like hydras that use energy. So it's not necessarily like a energy focused deck in the same way, but for the lore, it's a lot of like robots.
Which is
so it's
cool.
like energy to charge the robots. Yeah. So it isn't an energy deck from a lore standpoint, but it's not an energy deck from like a Kaladesh mechanics standpoint.
Yeah.
Which is like both are totally fine, but it is a really solid card. It is like all the creatures are also artifacts. So it's very hard to cast something and not have it be an artifact and get those charge counters. I think it's solid. Giving stuff like trample and haste is really solid. You know, if you have like one big fatty,
Yep.
and then you pay 1 energy, give it +1/+0 and trample till end of turn. That's pretty sick.
You could do some like, there's got to be some like infinite combos you can do with this, like infinite casts of an artifact somehow with like a KCI and like a mirror retriever or something. I'm looking up a card. Oh wait, I can do that in here.
Wait, you could do like an Underworld Breach loop with Ornithopter and Intruder Alarm.
Oh.
Because this is that's return to your hand. Yeah, so you could do that
mirror
too.
retriever
I was thinking
stuff,
about that, but I thought it returned it
with Scrap Trawler, and so you get infinite energy.
Yeah,
and then if you untap her, you get an untapper out. So, you just go from there somehow. I bet you could do it. You could fall into some stupid combo and like make something infinitely big and smack someone with it. That seems fun.
Yeah, or even just do it enough that you could get a big enough number that it's worth smacking, you know.
Uh-huh.
The other thing too is depending on what you're using the 5 energy counters for, you could just like city level the whole playing field. Just like lock the pod out.
Oh wait,
there's like
city leveler.
There's a ton of
cityscape leveler. Yeah.
A trample 8/8 that when it enters or attacks, it destroys up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a tapped Power Stone token.
This thing's still $11.
That's what that felt like for a split second. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, that seems really good
go
though.
Full Wookiee, but
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of like if you want to make it degenerate, you could make it degenerate, but you don't have to. You could just play it and just make creatures, make Thopters.
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat. It's not my favorite of the Just Guy. I like the other Just Guy one a lot more. I kind of want to build it, at least for a Moxfield deck. But we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, it's cool. But let's get to.
Do you know anything about
the face commanders?
Do you know anything about Madison Lee? Have you played any game with her?
I do not. Okay. Apparently, she stretches across multiple ones, and I just have I have no recollection. But I'll tweet if I find her in Fallout 4.
Oh, she's in Fallout
I'll be like,
3.
oh my god, it finally happened. Shite. Oh, then I think she helps find your dad.
Is a scientist residing in the science lab of Rivet City in the Capital Wasteland, serving as a major character in the main questline in Fallout 3. And she makes a reappearance in Fallout 4.
Nice.
Wow.
I played Fallout 3 first, so pretty much everything about that game is super hazy, except for the fact that it takes place in Washington, D.C.
That is cool.
And Liam Neeson's your dad. Yeah.
Oh, Liam Neeson's in it?
And yeah, Liam Neeson's in it. And then the first town you enter is called Megaton, and it has a giant atomic bomb that never went off.
Ooh.
And your first like moral dilemma is like, do you just leave the bomb alone? Do you just like let these people get a little bit of radiation poisoning all the time? Do you diffuse it and like save the town,
blow it up?
or do you rig it to explode and then leave?
Why would
And it's crazy.
Why would you rig it to explode? Are there like bad people there or something, or like what's your gain for doing that?
There's no gain. You're just a dick.
Oh, you could just decide to do it. Okay.
Yeah, like you have a high enough science ability that you're like, I can do this. I'm just gonna do it.
Wow.
There's a thing like that in Fallout Vegas where you meet. It's always with cults that this happens because the Megaton people like worship the bomb. There's like always a dude in the divot with the bomb, like bowing to
Hell
it and
yeah.
stuff.
I would be that guy.
Yeah. I was like, that's my level of brain rot. And then
Too many TikToks, dude. I'm
New-
worshiping the bomb.
I'm worshiping the bomb. That should go on a t-shirt. But in New Vegas, there is a sect of like ghouls that you meet. And for people who don't know, ghouls are like people who were hit by radiation, killed essentially by the bomb, but instead of dying, they're just like burned up zombies, but they are like still sentient and they have like businesses and stuff.
Oh.
They're just people. Some ghouls are feral though, and those are the bad ones.
This game's.
But you meet a
Sounds
group.
fun.
Oh, go ahead. It is fun. It's crazy.
I want to play New Vegas. People say that one's really good.
That's my favorite one.
I really liked Outer Worlds, and that was
Yeah.
made by the same people. And I like that game a lot. So if I like that game, I would probably like New Vegas.
It is pretty much par for the course, the exact same shit.
Yeah.
Like the way the interfaces work and the way the menus work and everything is the exact same game. It's just like graphically updated for like next gen stuff. So you would fuck with it super hard. But you meet these ghouls, long story short, they're like, hey, help us with our rocket. And you're like, okay. And you could have the option to either help with the rocket, you can just leave them alone, or you can set the rocket to like skip and explode and like shoot the wrong direction if your science score is high enough. And you can do basically the same thing. And there's also a dude in there, I forget his name, but he's not a ghoul, but he thinks he's a ghoul and he talks like a ghoul. He makes his voice sound like a ghoul's voice. So when you talk to him, you're like, hey, dude, how's it going? He's like, don't call me dude. I'm one of these ghouls just like everyone else. You have to respect me. And when you go to anyone else and talk to them, they're like, yeah, that smooth skin is just hanging around. We don't know what's up with him. But tangent done. Last of the Face Commanders. What do we got?
Sorry, I'm peeping. I can buy Fallout New Vegas for like $2.50 on Xbox. Might do it.
That's so worth it.
Maybe. I gotta beat other games, but maybe one day.
No, you don't. It's time for New Vegas.
Do you want to? Who's this guy, Ryan? What's his deal?
I don't know. I think he's in Fallout 4, and I haven't found him yet.
I think it's Fallout
but-
76. Because that's the one.
Is it? Then
that's the one in
I've
West Virginia,
absolutely
right?
not seen him.
Because Mothman
is,
is
yes.
from West Virginia.
Yar.
You want to read him?
But this is the Wise Mothman. It's a 1 in Sultai, so black, green, and blue for a flying 3/3. And whenever the Wise Mothman enters the battlefield or attacks, each player gets a rad counter. And whenever one or more non-land permanents are milled, put a +1/+1 counter on up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. So it's kind of in either go wide +1/+1 deck or a go tall +1/+1 deck, depending on just like what your draw set is. But rad counters trigger at the beginning of a player's main phase, and they will mill cards equal to the amount of rad counters that they have, and then lose life and a rad counter for each non-land card that was milled that way. So if you mill a land card, you don't lose any life, but you don't lose the rad counter. If you mill anything else, you lose a life and a rad counter. And you kind of fluctuate between having no radiation, a little bit of radiation, and a lot of radiation.
Yeah, so the radiation specifically says at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, if you have any rad counters, mill that many cards. For each non-land milled this way, you lose a life and a rad counter. Seems interesting.
It was putting in work in that one game that I watched.
Really? Was it like burning the table?
It made me not like necessarily burning the table, but it was enough value that like I mean, Mothman almost always is like a 6/6 or a 7/7 by the time you get back around to your turn. So Voltron wise, super viable. And then it can get crazy. I just don't think there was enough setup because that player that was playing the Mothman kept having things removed. So they kind of had to keep redeploying instead of adding to it. But there is a lot of proliferation stuff in the deck that like lets you up those rad counters. And it can go either way. I don't really necessarily see rad counters as a way of like, I'm going to beat you. But I see rad counters as a way of I'm getting all of my stuff fast. And by proxy, you're going to lose some of your stuff.
And your life, which just seems good. Because they lose a life per rad counter. So, like, you're killing the table slowly, but you're doing it. I mean, and that adds up. Because, like, other people are swinging and doing shit, too. So.
Yeah, it definitely adds up. I just don't... I don't know if anyone would be able to be like, you're going to have, like, 20 rad counters on your main phase. You know what I mean? You're more looking like the max is going to be, like, 6 or 7. Which is still pretty solid. Personally, for me, this is the deck I want to play the most.
Really?
This is the deck I'm like most excited about. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so cool.
It is cool. It is cool. I've just heard like complaints about the deck, that it's a little all over the place. It's like it's got like +1 counter stuff. It's got rad counter stuff. It's got self mill stuff, and it's all kind of weird. But I think if you like are willing to upgrade it, you can go in one direction. So maybe remove the counter stuff and just go in the mill direction, or go all in the counter stuff and like just get incremental mill just so you're getting more counters. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see what happens this weekend. Maybe I'll accidentally buy Mothman. Maybe I'll accidentally make an upgrade thing. We'll see what direction it goes in.
Hell yeah.
If I have any money. But yeah, I think this deck is super, super cool. It definitely does feel a little all over the place, but I feel like if you hone it in, it can do some really cool stuff. And you can have the fucking Mothman as your commander, dude.
I think the art is a little disappointing because you only see his face. Like, I want to see more of him. Like, this version has, like, you see all of them and, like, look at him. He looks scary.
Yeah, he does look crazy. I don't mind the art. I like that it's just his big fucking red eyes, because that's like the big thing of the Mothman is that it doesn't necessarily have a head. It's just a torso, and it's just big glowing eyes in the torso section.
Okay. Is he friendly?
And so I think,
or is he mean?
It is. It's not friendly for sure, but it's more of like a harbinger for things. It'll like chase people and stuff, but there's never like someone was grabbed by the Mothman and had their dick ripped off. But there is this story of there's like a bridge that collapsed in West Virginia. I can't remember the name of the bridge.
They said it was.
Let me Google it real fast. Yeah, and there was like a weird amount of reports that night of people like seeing Mothman at the bridge. And it wasn't like Mothman cut the wires. It was just that he was like flying nearby and people saw him, but people were like, he brings like bad luck. He's like the energy and the reason why that happened.
Spooky.
Yeah, I'm going to Google the name of the bridge real fast. I'll say, what's the next? Do you want to go reverse order back to Mardu though?
There's just in alpha. They're in like a certain order on Scryfall. I've just been going in whatever the Scryfall order is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I fuck with this
It was
guy.
the Silver Bridge.
The Silver Bridge.
Yeah, the Silver Bridge. Yeah, it was a bridge that connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Galapagos, Ohio. Fuck you, Ohio. I probably said that wrong. It's probably like Galapagos, you know. But Point Pleasant is where the Mothman lives. So that's where the museum is. I've got pictures of me with the caked up Mothman statue.
Did you see someone gave it like a tramp stamp?
No, that's so hot.
Let's see if I can. How do I do this? Here we go.
He's got it. Watch live editing, folks. Oh my God. It's just like the early 2000s, like black line work, tribal tattoos.
It looks cursed.
Oh my God. Yeah, that shit is cursed. But I love Mothman. I even have a Mothman ornament that goes on my Christmas tree. Sick. So who's next? Who's up?
I don't know who this guy is, but I like him. He's cool. It's Liberty Prime Recharge. 2 white, red, and blue. Legendary artifact creature robot. Vigilance, trample, haste. It's an 8/8. Whenever it attacks or blocks, sacrifice it unless you pay 2 energy counters. Then you can pay 2, sack an artifact. You get 2 energy and draw a card. Seems fucking cool. Seems sweet. Like, look at that guy. He's got that big fucking electric fist.
Yeah.
I think he's sweet.
The art is awesome.
You gotta, like, get energy before you summon him. But if you, like, get some energy out, then you cast him, immediately start smacking dudes, and then just sack, like, Ichor Wellsprings and Mycosynth Wellsprings and, like, Spine of Ishaw and shit, or Mirror Retrievers, so you're getting all the stuff back. That sounds awesome. And then
that's actually sick.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah, I just think it is really cool. I just like looking at him, and he's got like this weird like convolutedness, which I like just Dirtle Town is like I'm sacrificing these artifacts, I'm doing stuff, and I'm getting value, and so it's just a generic artifact deck. But then I got an 8/8 I can hit you with and 2, you know, so it just seems pretty good. I don't know.
It is pretty good.
I like him a lot.
It's very sick. I was looking up the lore for it real fast.
And the flavor text is democracy is non-negotiable, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a giant robot that the U.S. Army made, and Dr. Madison Lee is the one that like fixes it and brings it back to power.
Oh, nice.
But I guess it just seems like it's a big punch.
I think he's cool. I want to build him. At least for like
he's just a big robot made by the military.
Like a Moxfield deck just to try out. Just see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I build this in paper, but definitely fun to try out.
Yeah, for sure. At least give it a try.
Next up, we got the Master Transcendent. 1 red, green, or 1 black, green, and blue. Sultai for a 2/4 for a mutant weirdo looking guy. I hate looking at him.
He's awesome.
When he enters the battlefield, target player gets 2 rad counters. And then put target creature in a graveyard that was milled this turn onto the battlefield under your control. It's a green mutant with base power and toughness 3/3.
I think this card is like so good.
It seems cool. You can mill people's good shit. Creatures are so good nowadays that you be getting like all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah. And you get 2 rad counters, so you get at least 1 set around the table with it. If you are able to give them haste, it's obviously way better. But you can just steal stuff during people's turns, like as they mill it, which is crazy. It can shut down a graveyard deck if you just snag their big thing. You're like, that's mine now. It's just a 3/3 mutant, but whatever. It's super cool. I think it's very fun. It's obviously not the most insane thing as the face commander without, because you're able to give more rad counters, I think, with Mothman than you can with him, with the master.
But you just make people mill in other ways.
Yeah. Also, and making 3/3 mutants, sick.
Check this out. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Seedborn Muse.
No. Oh my goodness. Wow. Dude, you're such a gamer.
It's a 5 mana spirit. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untaps up. So you're doing this every turn. So if you're making people mill every turn, is there something like each at their upkeep they like Mesmeric Orb?
Yeah.
You Mesmeric Orb, 80 Seedborn Muse, and you're just ripping shit. You're ripping Docksides. You're ripping like Consecrated Sphinxes. You're ripping like Selfless Spirits. Like you're just grabbing these little dinky little value creatures. You get a bunch of value. You're getting more and more 3/3s. You start chucking 3/3s at people's faces. Seems good.
Yeah, dude. And also you can make Seedborn Muse a mutant.
Yeah.
Which makes it even better.
I just got reprinted too. It's like $6.
That's pretty sick.
It's been reprinted a lot, and it's still a $16 card. I mean, it's really good.
It's a really good fucking card.
Really good.
But nice, yeah. And the Masters from Fallout 1, which is like really hyped that they gave like a character that old a card because he's not in anything else.
I don't like looking at him.
Well, yeah, he looks fucking disgusting.
The eye.
His thing is that they're like the father of mutants, and they're dipping people as experiments in like these radiation pools and turning them into like super mutants to make an army. And I guess the master's idea is he's like, I'm making a perfect society. Like everyone's going to be perfect and they're all going to be evolved and it's going to be great. And then I guess in Fallout 1, if you go through enough side quests, you get a special piece of paper and learn some information. And during the final thing, you can tell the master that information. And it's that all of his super mutants are sterile and they can't reproduce. So his whole plan just doesn't work because it can't continue the lineage. And he's just like, wow. This is the worst day of my life. Like that computer is like, this sucks. And then he blows the whole thing up.
Dang.
Spoiler for a 25-year-old game.
Yeah, spoilers for the game I was never going to play. What the fuck?
Yeah. But he looks crazy. I like him. I want to try it. I'm definitely buying this deck. This is the deck
It seems pretty good. I might get the Mardu one. Well, I'll see whichever one Matt wants, and if he wants the Mardu one, he can have it, and then I'll get something else. Or I just won't get one. I have enough.
Or just get it anyway. I was going to say, if I end up getting all 4 of them for like a pod, we can all just play them whenever, so.
This guy is cool. I like this card a lot. This card's sweet. Mr. House, President and CEO. I don't know what that means, but I like him. And then Mardu, just red, white, black. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher, create a 3/3 colorless robot artifact creature token. If you rolled a 6 or higher, instead create that token and a treasure token. Pay 4, roll a 6-sided dice, plus an additional 6-sided dice for each mana from treasures spent to activate this ability.
Yeah.
Those rolling dice making treasure, that seems really, that seems sweet. I feel like... I feel like this is garbage in the Caesar deck because it's like I feel like this does nothing for that deck.
There's treasure stuff.
Is there?
In that deck, yeah. And the other thing is like if you roll 5 dice and you make 5 3/3s. That rate's pretty solid, and then you can use that for like Caesar's other ability and stuff. It's definitely not as big of a bomb, like the minute you play it, it's not going to take over the game like Caesar does, but it does fit some of the themes of it. And Mr. House is like the dude who runs the Vegas Strip, So he is like the mastermind behind everything.
Oh,
So that's why he's making all the treasure, because he's making all the money.
that's cool.
Yeah. He's an O4 because he's technically a dead body in a cryo chamber, and they just blast his brain image on the screen. So he's like not technically alive.
Is that him next to him? Like you got his head, and then next is that his body in the cryo thing?
Yeah, I think it's laying there. It's like it's his full body, and he's like laying in just like this chamber like this.
No, thank you.
Like this, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's just laying there like this.
weird.
I don't know if you guys can see, he's laying there like this. Yeah.
But yeah, that seems cool. Like you could do like some shit with this, like crime novelist
Yeah, and he-
shenanigans.
Yeah.
This card's kind of ridiculous. I need to put it in a deck. It seems really crazy.
Yeah, if you're sacking artifacts, it goes insane.
Also seems good.
Makes all your treasures 2 treasures.
Seems good in either in or like Jan Jansen.
Yeah,
Sack
Jan
the robots
Jansen's
for
sick.
treasures. Sack your treasures for constructs. Make a bunch of treasures. Dump it into the president. Seems pretty good. Mardu treasure
Yeah.
stuff. Plus, we're getting Olivia in the Thunder Junction commander decks. Olivia is a Mardu treasure deck. So we're gonna get some sauce.
That's sick. Nice. I'm excited for that set. I think it'll be fun.
Also, what's that pirate that like makes treasures when your stuff pitiless?
Yar.
Which also got
Yar.
reprinted.
In Fallout.
Yeah, and the art's amazing. Look at that. Ooh.
Yes, it looks sick.
Yeah. This card's finally getting a little cheaper. It's like $5. That definitely worth $5. Pick it up.
Yeah, it's a really good card. But yeah, I think oh, that is good art.
Special Ghost. Wow. Yeah, I think he looks cool. I like him a lot.
Yeah. I really, really, really want to try playing him and see how it runs.
You would need to build his own deck, I think. I don't think he'd be good just with that precon. But
yeah,
his
I
own
think
deck, I
putting
bet,
in,
would
like,
be sick.
Yeah, like putting in AFR, because AFR had some like red roll dice stuff. It'd obviously be better if it had blue, because that was that whole draft set, but it would be pretty solid. I think that it'd be plausible to make work.
Whenever you roll one or more dice, Brazen Dwarf deals 1 damage to each opponent. Seems good.
You could do what is it, warrior class or something, and the first one gives you like basically advantage. You can
Barbarian
whenever
class.
you roll a dice. Barbarian class, yeah.
Seems good. Also, Clown Car. When Clown Car enters the battlefield, roll X 6-sided dice for each odd result. Create a 1/1 Clown Robot Artifact Creature token. For each even result, put a +1/+1 counter on Clown Car. So you can just
Yeah, that's
dump
solid.
man into it and then roll just a bunch of dice.
And then there's Will Blade of Frontiers.
Yeah, Will's pretty good.
Yeah, which that goes pretty hard.
If you would roll one or more dice, instead roll that many dice +1. Huh, there's not actually as many as I thought. We're already like out
Yeah.
of...
There's really only like four playable cards.
Vexing Puzzle Box. So it just seems like you just try and activate him as many times as you can. I'm surprised there's not.
Yeah, it'd be.
Oh well, there's all the stuff. There's like that is it's probably just formatted differently. Let me see. Lucy's freaking out. She wants in here so bad. Here you go. Like, yeah, so because it doesn't say roll a dice, it says roll a d20. So like Ancient Copper Dragon would be insane. Or Chaos Dragon. Flying Haste attacks each combat if able. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each player rolls a d20. So yeah, so stuff that says roll a d20. There's a lot of those. Wand of Wonder.
Doesn't Mr. House specifically say D6 though?
It does, but it says whenever you roll a 4 or higher, so you can roll any dice. So it's actually better to roll d20s.
Okay, solid.
You'll have a much higher chance. Like,
I just couldn't read the first part of it. I couldn't remember if the first part also specified a D6 or not.
No, he rolls a D6, but if you can roll D20s, like this rogue, whenever it attacks, you roll a D20. Seems decent.
Yeah, that's solid. This might be my Moxfield deck.
Revivify.
If it works.
3 mana, roll a d20. Add a number of creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. That's interesting. Return all creature cards in your graveyard that are put there from the battlefield this turn to your hand. Seems pretty good. Return this card from graveyard to the battlefield. That seems decent. Maybe. I don't know. An edict. Huh.
We'll have to give it a go. I might try and build it.
Heck yeah. He's cool.
Yeah. I didn't think about rolling D20s. That's a good idea.
Last up, Preston Garvey, Minuteman. 2 red,
Minuteman,
green and white. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a green aura enchantment token named Settlement, attached up to 1 target land you control. It has enchant land, and enchanted land has add a mana of any color. Whenever it attacks, untap each enchanted permanent you control, and it's a 4/4.
this is a funny card because do you know the meme about Preston Garvey?
Yeah, it's just like there's another settlement or something like that. Isn't that like Fallout 4 thing?
Yeah. He like is one of the main character leads in Fallout 4, and he's always giving you missions. But sorry, my laundry just finished.
Oh, I heard that.
So it always comes in the form of him like kind of popping up and just being like, another settlement needs your help. And for like, I don't know if they changed it or anything, but for a while it was like very like just all the time you kept getting these messages from him that said that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of fun that you can enchant your lands and make them settlements. Because it lets your land add an extra mana of any color, right?
It's just mana fixing. It just enchanted land has add 1 mana of any color, so it just makes your it turns your land into like a city of brass, which is good.
It just makes it a command tower. Makes whatever land you're using like a command tower.
Well, you can you can get color outside of your commander's colors, because it's add a mana of any color.
Yeah, I just don't know how relevant that is.
I bet
how often that matters.
There's some weird things you can do with that. Getting access to
there's always weird shit you can do.
Like exile someone's. Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be something.
Because I think most cards that like deal with using other people's stuff also gains that like clear cast ability where you can just pay like a generic amount of mana for it instead of the colors.
Yeah. Nowadays, I bet there's some old cards that do weird things. I don't know for sure.
No, there definitely has to be a couple. But the big thing for Mr. Garvey is that last bit when he attacks you, untap enchanted permanents that you control.
Enchanted permanent you control, which seems pretty good. It's kind of like that Bant lady.
Bant Lady.
Yeah, the enchantment one.
It's not. Are you talking about the Merfolk one?
No.
No,
No. Estrid.
dude. What? Oh, yeah.
She's a Bant Enchantress commander, and she says untap each enchanted permanent you control with her +2. So this guy might be better because it's on attacks and it's not a planeswalker that's just gonna get killed. And then you soup him up with enchantments. So he attacks and then you untap him because presumably you would get an aura on him. And you just get like wild growth, you get like fertile ground, stuff like that. You start like enchanting your lands, and then you get a bunch of mana. And then it's an enchantment deck, so you just like draw a bunch of cards by casting your auras. So like Naya auras. Could be sweet.
Yeah, very fun. I feel like this card makes a little more sense as the commander for that deck.
Seems good with Mazzy. Either in the deck or vice versa. Whenever an enchanted creature attacks one of your opponents, it gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Whenever an aura you control is put to your graveyard from the battlefield, exile it until end of your next turn. You may cast that card. So it lets you like loop auras, which is kind of cool.
It is cool. I've seen it on. I think it's you can play it on Arena, can't you?
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, Alchemy Horizons.
Some
of the commanders from that set didn't get ported over the same. They got ported over like slightly differently. Like anything with like a background has like the specialized thing.
Yeah, that mechanic is a little sucky.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's a little much. But yeah, I like Preston Garvey.
Yeah, he's cool.
I think he's cool, and it's a good little joke.
Yeah, just make a bunch of mana, draw a bunch of cards, Voltron them up. Seems good.
Yeah, that's the whole game.
And that's it. Those are all the commanders. They all seem pretty interesting. They all do weird things. What do you think, Ryan? Do you have any final thoughts about the commanders? Is there anyone you wish was a commander that they missed?
I'm trying to think, and like not really, because they gave a lot of other main characters cards, and I feel like they picked decent characters to hold like more colors for like have a wider color identity. I'm trying to think, because the Naya deck is sick. That's great. I like the Mothman one, even though I don't really feel like the Mothman's a big character, but I feel like all the mutants are big characters. Mm-hmm. But none of them, aside from like the Master, feel very Sultai. They're all kind of like a mix, so whatever. It's also Mothman, so it gets a pass. The energy ones are sick. Makes sense. And the Caesar deck is really cool. There's a lot of really cool cards in that. Yeah. Like there's the Kellogg card that makes a treasure and it has haste. Yep. It makes a treasure on attack and it's a hasty first strike 3/3. It's like such a good body. I think they're all really cool. I really do want to buy like a pod of them so that way I can just carry around 4 Fallout Commander decks and just play it as a pod with people. Yeah, that's Kellogg. He's a 1 and Rakdos, so black and red for a 3/2 first strike haste. Whenever he attacks, you make a treasure token and then sacrifice 5 treasure tokens, gain control of a target creature as long as you control Kellogg.
Does he like steal babies?
Activate only as a sorcery. Yes, he is the first antagonist in Fallout 4, and while you're in a cryostasis mode, he steals your baby and kills your wife, and you're like, oh.
Oh, in 4. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. It's like the opening scene, and he's like the first guy that you like hunt down. But it's a really good card. That card was putting in work in that stream.
That's cool.
Could you pull up the last thing I want to say before we hop into just like some of our favorite cards are the sagas. Could you go to the like Simic one?
The Simic what?
Saga. It's like Vault something something.
Got it.
Because all of the sagas that are in these decks are like exploring the vaults, which is like a huge part of playing Fallout. You like wander the wastelands and then eventually you'll like come across a vault and it's either sealed or it's open and like you can get inside or you have to do a quest. Yeah. And sometimes they don't know it's an experiment. Sometimes it's still just people living. Like in Fallout 4, there's just one where people are like, we just need some tools. Like if you can bring them back, and you're like, sure. But then you go to like Vault 87 and it's forced evolution. So it's, what is it? It's gain control of target non-mutant creature for as long as you control Vault 87. The second one is put 2/1/1 counters on target creature you control. It becomes a mutant in addition to its other types. And then the last one is draw cards equal to the greatest power among mutants you control. But yeah, all the vaults have like their own different experiments, and some of them, and the way you kind of figure that out is you go to the little terminals and you click them and it's green screen. If anyone's ever worked at Guitar Center like us, you know what green screen looks like, but it's just black background with the green text. And you just read little journal entries and notes and stuff like that, and you kind of piece it all together. It's like really awesome world building, but it's cool to see them as the sagas because the stories do really lay out like that, and it's really cool. Vault 87 was crazy. If it's the right one that I'm thinking of, there's like mutants but also like crazy plants and shit all over the place. Like it's super overgrown. It's really spooky. But yeah, I just wanted to say those overall are super sick.
This card seems pretty good. Like it's 5 mana. Like a control magic is like 4 mana. So it's a little above rate, but you get other stuff and then you're going to draw like at least 4 cards at the end of it.
Yeah. And with the proliferate stuff in the blue, in the Sultai deck, you can like even get multiple ticks through a saga in one turn, which is kind of fun.
This seems like a Eutropia card.
Yar. Absolutely.
I need to put her back together. She was fun. I played her like twice.
It was a cool deck. I realized I have 2 Simic decks now. I have a super casual one and I have a really competitive one. And I
don't have a Simic deck. I need to make one. Maybe I'll put her back.
I know. That's why you got to put this back together.
And she's cool. Like, she's interesting. She's enchantment, and she's Simic, and she's +1/+1 counters, but in this, like, weird way. Like, 1 green-blue for a 2/2. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield on your control, put a counter on target creature. The creature gains flying until end of turn. So you play this, you gain, and then you put a counter on Eutropia, and then you put another counter on her. On the second mode, and then you draw equal to her power. And like you put so many counters on her, like he becomes like huge. So you would draw 1 million cards. Seems good.
Yeah, because you can put it on any creature that you want. And then that creature becomes a mutant. Pretty cool. But yeah, those are my closing thoughts on the commander cards.
What?
Okay, so now that we've talked about all of the commander face cards, we're going to just talk about, we each got like 3 cards that we thought were either fun or that we thought were really good coming out of these decks, and we'll share those, and I think that'll round us out for the day or the night or the morning, wherever you are at in time.
Hell yeah. What's your first one?
My first one is Over Encumbered, which is a enchantment aura for 1 and a white. If anyone who has played Fallout, you know what it's like to be over encumbered. But you enchant an opponent for 1 and a white. Yeah, or any game really. But in Fallout, you get the notification all the time. But whenever encumbered enters the battlefield, enchanted opponent creates a clue, a food, and a junk token. That sounds not very good. But at the beginning of combat on enchanted opponent's turn, that player may pay 1 for each artifact they control. If they don't, creatures can't attack this turn. So they have to pay 3 in order to be able to attack just from those tokens. But people make plenty of clues. People make plenty of food. Oh, hi, baby. There's a little kitty on cam. I think this is just a really solid card because either they have to put in some mana to crack the clue and the food, they can crack the junk for free. It's kind of whatever. But if they're also running any like treasure or blood or anything else, they either have to get rid of all of that stuff or pay to attack through this, which could get kind of costly. So I'm excited to see how this card plays. It could play like complete doo-doo, but I think it's a pretty solid way to shut down, especially like maybe a big combat deck. Obviously, don't play this on a combo player, but I think it's cool. I think it'll be fun. I'm excited to give it a go and see how it plays. So, what do you think, Tyler?
I'm kind of skeptical on it. I think the flavor is perfect. I think it's like a sweet design. So kudos to Wizards on that. I think it's sweet. Playing it, I don't know. It's like it does give your opponent stuff. Like the junk is free. So you're giving them a card for free. They just have to tap and sack the junk. And then they just need to pay 4 mana to get rid of the other stuff. So you've slowed them down for a turn, maybe. But you've also given them another card. But they may not be able to cast that card if they've spent 4 mana on the other stuff. So, but they probably have other artifacts as well. So if you give it to a deck with a bunch of signets, like an Esper deck or something, like a non-green deck that just like has a bunch of mana rocks, that seems really good too. Especially if they're like in an attacky kind of thing. Like, if you hit like a Layla with this, I'm so screwed. Like, I would have to find a way to remove it because I got all the signets, I got like other artifacts and stuff. It would make it really hard. So I don't know, but and it just stops them from attacking. It just depends on your meta too. Like, if are you in an attack meta, it's probably better. If you're not, just don't play this card, I guess. So I think it's really meta dependent. So I don't know. I definitely want to see it in action.
Oh, you will. Don't worry.
It's I don't know. I'm skeptical. I think it's a sweet design though. I really love like it's really good. Like they designed it like that thing in a video game where you're over encumbered, you know? Like that's such a staple of RPGs and things. So I think it's sweet that they nailed that flavor on a card. So I
like that it punishes you for carrying too many artifacts around.
Yeah.
Like if you have more artifacts than just those 3, it costs so much more to like get through.
Yeah.
And you gotta start unloading stuff. You gotta get rid of it.
What's this card's called? I thought it was June.
Was it the Poo Poo Man?
No, Rose.
You picked sorry. I thought it was the Poo Poo Man.
My pick
This card's fucked.
Is Rose Cutthroat Raider. This card seems insane. 2 red for a 3/2 with first strike. At end of combat on your turn, if you attack this turn, create a junk token for each opponent you attacked. Whenever you sack a junk, add red. And junks say tap and sack this artifact, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So if you're in a red deck that turns things sideways, this is card advantage and it's mana on artifacts that you're sacrificing. So if you care about sacrificing, if you care about artifacts, if you care about attacking, if you care about mana, which is every deck, like it just seems like insane. It's like a Tymna and a professional Facebreaker all in one thing. And it doesn't have to attack. If you attacked at all, you make a junk for each opponent. So, like the Loyal Apprentice deck, you're just like chucking Thopters at people's faces. You make 3. You don't even have to like hit. You don't have to hit them. You just have to have attacked. It's like, I'll throw 1/1 at you. You block it. Who cares? I'm still getting some value. Seems just really good.
Yeah.
And it's a 3/2 first strike, so it's a really good attacker. Like,
Yeah.
so it'll kill a lot of stuff. And it's a robot.
Yeah. This card scares me.
Yeah, it seems really good. I want to get one because it seems like it's going to be really good in like every deck. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it in action because I feel like the one thing that happens sometimes with exiling stuff from the top of your library is you're out of gas a little bit, and this just is like pouring gasoline on the fucking fire. It's just like, here, look at 4 cards, 4 mana, do whatever the fuck you want. It's like a what? You would have to have I don't know. It feels like Jessica's Will, but it scales like fucking insane.
It's Jessica's Will like every
junk,
turn.
Yeah, because you're making the mana and
Getting the cards.
getting enough stuff to like. It scales so much crazier than Jessica's Will because you're only getting like 6 mana and 3 cards, where with this, if you made 6 mana, you got 6 cards. Not that it's better than Jessica's Will, but it's just like Jessica's Will kind of on a body a little bit.
But it's repeatable, and it's every turn, and it gives you a bunch of permanents, and getting permanents is really good for all kinds of shit. So, just seems really insane,
really,
and it's currently
really
pre-ordering for $1, so I might order like 5 of them, because it just kind of goes in every red deck ever.
It does. It would go hard in the Goblin deck.
It'd be really good in Goblins. I mean, it's not a Goblin, but seems worth it.
Hey, if Goblins are running into battle with one robot from Fallout, I love that visual.
I love this art too. Like, I don't really know what I'm looking at with the robot, but like the background is like the giant explosion, and like some of the art I don't like in this set, and then other art is like so like dynamic, and like the lighting, it looks really, really cool. Like the chick drinking the Nuka-Cola is one of my favorite Magic arts of all time.
Or where she's like holding the bottle to her face.
This looks so good.
Yeah. It's super stylized.
Yeah.
It feels very Magic and very Fallout, like all at once.
Yeah, and like how the Nuka is it like Nuka-Cola World or something? Is that what that?
I guess I haven't
but
seen
it's like
Nuka-Cola
out of focus
World yet. So
like, it looks so good.
Yeah, and she's like hyper in focus.
Yeah,
the little glint off the bottle,
and she fucks with the Nuka. She's Nuka's biggest fan. 4 mana, 3/4. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, put a quest counter on Sierra Nuka's biggest fan and create a food token. Then whenever you sacrifice a food, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, or +X/+X, where's the number of quest counters on Sierra. Whatever. Seems whatever.
It's pretty solid. I'd like to play it. It seems fun. But yeah, the art is sick.
Seems good in the food deck. From Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, yeah.
But I refuse to put non-Lord of the Rings cards in there.
Boo.
I know.
I just talked about going off Goblin, dude.
I don't know what to tell you. It's arbitrary. There's no reason not to, besides the fact I don't want to. So that's all I got.
Yeah.
I have no other reason. Like, dude, I got all these hobbits and like Shire looking dudes, and then I have a bitch named Sierra. That doesn't work. That doesn't make any sense.
Instead of drinking like tea,
we're drinking
she's
Nuka-Cola.
drinking Nuka-Cola, yeah. Throwing caps around.
I can't do it.
I would say let me pop this next card.
Yeah, what is it?
Let me pop my Nukasi. It's Nuclear Fallout.
Is it a black card?
Yes.
Yeah, this one's cool.
Just past it. Yeah.
This art's amazing too.
So it's, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like on the level of good art, this art is sick. It's a sorcery called Nuclear Fallout for X and 2 black. And it says each creature gets twice -X until end of turn, and each player gets X rad tokens. I think this is like right on the level of Toxic Deluge just in terms of like board wipes. I think this card is really good, and also giving the rad counters in black is sick, because even if you're not like a rad counter deck, giving yourself 3 or 4 rad counters, it could get you some big old fatties in the yard. You know, it could get you your combo pieces. You never know what you could mill off the top, but like any extra incremental mill is awesome, and it is going to burn the table out just a little bit. But I like that it says each creature gets twice -X.
Yeah.
So really,
it's really efficient.
You don't have to. Yeah. You put 2 mana into it and it wipes anything 4 and under, which is like most stuff. Yeah, I think it's super efficient. In all honesty, I'm probably gonna start putting this in all of my black decks.
Yeah, it seems really good. It's like a Black Sun Zenith. Like put X -1 counters on each creature, shuffle it into its owner's library. So this ends up killing things. But that's only X. So like getting something twice X, like that's power creep right there. Like this was already considered like pretty good. What's the other, like, is it Plague Wind? No. I don't know. There's some black board.
Is it Profane Command?
No, that's only target creature.
Oh, it's only
that's
target.
Pretty good though.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some sort of board wipe that's like, let's see if Draft Sim can help us out. Why are there 74? Jeez. Meat Hook Massacre is just X. Huh. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just Meat Hook Massacre. I thought there was some kind of pay X. Shit gets -X. Huh. Yeah, so just Meat Hook Massacre.
Crazy.
So it's like,
no, it's pre-ordering at $15.
it'll probably crash. I don't think that's.
Everyone knows it's good.
I don't even know if it's that good, because it's not as good as. It's not better than Toxic Deluge, and it's not better than Damnation. I don't like. It's just not as efficient.
I think it's better than Damnation.
There's no way.
Because it gets around indestructible.
Yeah, but Damnation
and it's
just
for the same mana you're
everything
getting,
no matter what, unless it's indestructible. For 4 mana, like just that rate is just insane for black. Because this you gotta like deal with, like, okay, there's a 12/12. I gotta dump 8 mana into this, which is still really good. This is like probably number 4. Like you got, I think the ranking would be Toxic Deluge, Damnation, Meat Hook Massacre, Nuclear Fallout. All of them playable. If you have any of them in your deck, you're probably doing pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking for a second, I completely forgot about what you were saying, what other card you were talking about aside from Toxic Deluge, and then I remembered it was Damnation. That's what I was like thinking about for a second. Yeah, no, I think it's really solid. I really like it. I want to try it in everything.
Yeah, seems good. Just an efficient rate. Twice minus X minus X. Pretty nuts. And the art's amazing. It's like the what's that guy? Traditional American stuff.
I don't know who you're talking about, but it is very Americana because it's just like a family dinner, but it's all skulls.
Norman Rockwell's.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's that. This art.
It's like Thanksgiving dinner or
that art.
something. The way that you like drag that over, like perfectly overlaid almost perfectly like overlaid the art. Yeah, that's super hype.
Did you see the Curse like Disney AI one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like, what is that? Why did they do that? It looks weird.
Yeah, it looks awful. They're so rosy.
And there's weird fingers and things.
Well, of course, that's par for the course. But what's your second one, mister?
Sorry, let me fix this. Okay. Mine would probably be... Oh. I'll just pick one. This guy. Where is he? Red Death Shipwrecker. Red and a blue for a 1/3. For a crab mutant. Alluring Eyes. Tap, goad target creature and opponent controls. That player draws a card. You add red. So it's an Izzet Mana Dork. That goads stuff. And draws that opponent cards. So that's a little stinky. But that feels good for Izzet. I like that a lot. So just an Izzet Mana Dork is really interesting to me. It doesn't seem good, but it seems really cool. I just really like...
It seems fun.
I really like this design. Like, it's got like a turn to this into... And it's really good in this deck. Let me find him. The Izzet Dragon that like goads things.
Which one is that? Is it the... Oh, are you talking about the one from Baldur's Gate?
Furcrag, Cunning Instigator. 5 mana, 3/3 flying haste. When one or more dragons you control attack an opponent, go target creature that player controls. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, if that creature had to attack this combat, you put a +1 counter on Furcrag and you draw a card. And so this lets you goad shit. So you like play Red Death and then you tap it to pay for Furcrag. You play Furcrag and then you immediately like you get a free goad. Seems really good. So you're going to draw 2 cards off of Furcrag the first time you play him. It seems pretty good.
Yeah. And it's just reoccurable or recurring. You can just do it every turn.
Yeah. So new staple for Furcrag, I think. I don't have this deck.
I would agree.
But I saw it on... There's an extra turns where a guy played it, and it seemed really good. It seemed cool. Is it deck? But...
I like the idea.
I don't know.
I fuck with the fact that he's a little dude.
Like, I don't know if it's like a, if I could put this in Veyron. Like, I don't know if this is generic enough. I could start putting this, you could just put it in Izzet deck. It might be. Because like in a Spellslinger deck, when I don't have a lot of creatures, I don't want big things coming at me. I'm going to goad it, and then I'm going to use the mana and cast more instants and sorcery spells. Seems decent for sure. Seems playable.
Yeah. Especially if you're using it in a spell slinger deck, you could always activate it before you cast an instant and goad something on someone's like upkeep, and like
Yeah.
just kind of throw off their plan. I like that you can do that.
And look at him. He's cool.
I think it's a cool card.
And he's a legend
Yeah.
for your stupid legend decks. Like, this is a good Dota the Unifier card because it's a legend. And it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's 2 mana, so it's easy to, like, cascade into. So
It's a 1/3, so it's a decent blocker too.
yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's neat.
I like him too.
I don't know how good it is,
He's
but
neat.
I just like looking at him. He's cool. Look at his eyes. He's like, he's got the Moxfield red eye
Yeah.
filter already on.
I know, yeah. When I first saw it in Chicago, I thought it was a joke for a split second. I was like, that's crazy.
What's your next card, Ryan?
He's good old Tato Farmer.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love this fucking dude.
it seems-
I love Tato
it
Farmer.
seems pretty good.
So Tato Farmer is a zombie mutant peasant for 2 and a green. He's a 1/4 with a landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may get 2 rad counters. And put target land card in a graveyard that was milled this way, or tap him, put target land card in a graveyard that was milled this turn onto the battlefield under your control tapped. I think this card is sick, especially because it's got keyword landfall, so you can just kind of like, as many times as you can play lands, you can possibly get 2 rad counters. And I love this for self-mill. I think it's sick. I think this is a really, really good card. It's also sick to get lands back from your yard, so that way, like, if you're casting spells but you can't get those lands back yet, if you don't have a Ramunap Excavator or something, you can at least get 1 land a turn onto the battlefield tapped, which would also trigger it again to mill a land, which is sick. So you can kind of get 2 lands and 4 rad counters every turn. I love this dude. I just fucking crackled so bad there, but I'm so excited for this card. I really want to try it in both Gitrog and Muldrotha.
Would you draw off Gitrog?
Yes. Anytime a land goes into the graveyard.
From anywhere, draw a card. So
Yeah.
good Gitrog card for sure. Oop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems cool. I don't have a deck for it, but it's neat. It's a good, like, value piece.
Yeah, this is very much my play style.
Yeah.
I really,
this is a
really
big
like
Ryan
the
card.
design of this
And
card.
he's a weirdo.
Yeah, he's a fucking freak.
He's funny. Aren't they like
He's just
like combined tomatoes and potatoes? So it's a tato.
yeah, and they're just fucking radiation filled, disgusting things. And he's a 1/4. He's a good blocker. He's got a good old booty in those overalls.
Oh, it says a graveyard, so you could get a land from anywhere.
Yeah. So if someone were to mill something that you want, you could get it. It's just got to get milled. So obviously it pops off a little bit harder in a deck where you're giving everyone the rad counters. But I think even just as a generic like mill piece, it's really solid. Especially after the first turn, because you can get 4 rad counters every turn, which is crazy. But what's your third card? What you got?
Mine's Wild Wasteland. It's a 3 mana enchantment.
Nice.
Skip your draw step. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. This card just seems sweet. I love the impulse draw thing. The risk of like the high risk, high reward. It's like, am I gonna exile something I can't cast? Am I gonna exile something I would rather have in my hand? Oh well. It seems cool. Like in Lelia, like in Mono Red Lelia, where you're just exiling, you're going to get so many counters on her. you're gonna start slapping the table. Or in Boros Pia, I love that deck, and you're gonna get so many Thopters off of this card, dude. It's so good. So it's kind of it's like a red for Phyrexian Arena. So it's 3 mana. You're drawing extra cards, or getting extra cards. So I think it's pretty good for mono red. Like maybe slap this.
Excuse me.
Like in my mono red dragons deck, this seems okay. Because I mean, you don't really care about the cards in your hand. Like you're just like, I'm either gonna play dragons and kill you, or I'd lose. You know, so I don't care what's in my hand.
Yeah.
So
we just gotta cook.
Yeah, if you're in, or maybe in Krinko, you know, this might be good in Krinko. It's just like I'm getting goblins.
Yeah.
If you're
goblins only cost like 3 to 4 or 2 to 3 mana, so it's easy to just cast a bunch of them.
And hopefully you're just getting like a land. You're getting a land and a non-land every turn. That's so good. It's like you're just casting your shit. Yeah. You're getting your land drop. You're just going. This could be really bad too. You could totally get burned by this card. So it's a little scary. Basso seems really good. It's also, if you're running all the red tutors, it seems pretty good. Like this and a Goblin Engineer seems really good, because then you actually get something in your hand you can hold on to. Or this. It's not good with Gamble, because you probably are going to run out of cards, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's really solid. Definitely red Phyrexian Arena. It's got the bite to it. You know, there's always the chance that it could screw you over, but I think for the most part, and the amount of advantage that you're going to get from this card, it's a really good card, and it's pre-ordering at like $7 right now. So
yeah, I think
this card is sick.
I want to proxy and try it and see how good it is. If you're in some like crazy mono red aggro shenanigans deck, it would probably be pretty good.
I definitely want to try it in goblins. That would actually go really hard.
Yeah. Like in like in Zada. It's probably really good in Zada. Or Solfim, Slicer, Imodane, Rionia Fire Dancer, Neheb the Eternal.
Just any deck. You're going to get so many cards off of this.
Just any mono red deck, you should probably play this card. Because you're like...
Yeah.
It's just so much more card advantage than you're going to get anywhere else. And you're in red. Fuck it. Like, you don't need cards in your hand. You need them on the field. Or you just don't have them. It's like, oh, whatever, they're gone. Whatever. I'll just kill you some other way. It's fine.
Yeah. And this gives you 2 cards every turn, and then if you just put some looting stuff in the deck, that would give you enough extra draw if you need to, that you can kind of keep going. But I mean, like, 2 cards every turn is still really, like, that's solid. Mm-hmm. That's really good. Especially if you're not running any or too much card draw stuff in red, which is hard. You're getting double the access than you normally would anyway, so... Just run it. Just do it.
Yeah. Seems interesting.
Yeah, I think this card is super sick.
Also, the art's crazy. It's got like this, like it's got like UFOs, which is crazy, and it's got this double-headed cow that's getting abducted, and it's got like weird zombies and skeletons playing poker. There's a lot going on. And I like this flavor text. It says, some things in the wasteland are best left unexplained.
Yeah. This Wild Wasteland is a perk that you can take in definitely New Vegas. I don't know if that's the only one, but it might be. But basically, it gives you these weird random occurrences that don't like have any bearing on the story, but just like weird shit will happen in the world. And you can activate that by taking that perk, or if you just want to play the world as is, you just don't take the perk and it's just normal. But there'll just be like aliens and stuff flying around, and like it's not like an all the time thing, but it's like once every 3 or 4 play sessions something will happen. You're like, what the fuck was that? That's not part of the game. And it's just that's like the weird Wild Wasteland perk.
Do you get a bonus for it?
I think so. You might not. I think it might just be that you can experience weird shit.
It's a trait. Taking this trait adds and or changes. I'm on the fallout.fandom.com/wiki/wild wasteland. Taking this trait adds and or changes certain random encounters and locations which would not appear in the same in-game without the trait. Events and locations modified added by the trait are indicated by such are indicated as such by a unique sound effect and an on-screen ... message with an image of the Vault Boy with spiral for eyes. Ooh. Identical to the trait's icon. And there's some specific encounters as well. There are 15 major Wild Wasteland encounters throughout Fallout New Vegas. Cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. So yeah, Fallout is super sick. I am so excited.
And there's a couple more cards I wanted to talk to you about, Ryan, and then we'll be done. What do you think about the bobbleheads?
I'm really excited for those. I mean, they're classic Fallout. They're the serialized card for the set, so that's super. That means Wizards thinks it's an important card. I like that they're all 3 mana rocks that make mana of any color, and then they do some other thing related to how many bobbleheads you have. I definitely want to make a deck that is all
Bobbleheads.
Yeah, all the bobbleheads, and then the win con is the lucky bobblehead.
So these are all the skill, all the the skills, right? Or like your stats.
Yeah, so it's like D&D or something. You know, you have like a set of stats that you use, and the acronym is like special. So it's strength, like perception. There's charisma or like speech. There's some other ones. Agility. It's what are all the names of the bobbleheads.
Yeah. So agility,
and that's
says 3 mana, add a mana of any color, pay 3, tap it. Up to X target creatures you control gain haste until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste, where X is the number of bobbleheads you control as you activate this ability. So it turns something into a ginger brute, which is kind of cool. There's charisma. Create X 1/1 soldiers tokens where X is the number of bobbleheads. Endurance. Up to X target creatures you control get +1 and +0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Draw X, pay 5, draw X cards where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. That's the intelligence. Luck is the crazy one. Pay 1, tap, roll X 6-sided dice where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. Create a tap treasure token for each even result. If you rolled 6 exactly 7 times, you win the game. So if you have all 7 bobbleheads and you roll all 7 with the 6, you win the game. Which seems hard. I guess if you do an infinite number of times, you can just say it'll happen eventually.
Well, I just want to do it too with like the barbarian class and will out, so you can just roll 3 dice every time and just take the highest one.
Perception. Look at the top X cards of your library where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. You may cast a spell with mana value 3 or less from among them without paying its mana cost. For the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Seems pretty good. If you can like, might be good in Andy's like scry deck. It's like you know what's on top and you just like cast something from the top of your library.
Yeah, let them rip it.
And then strength is put counters.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
+1 counters.
Put X 1/1 counters where X is the amount of bobbleheads you control. Yeah, I think they're super super fun, and none of them are like broken or anything. They're all just solid.
They're all bad,
fun
honestly.
value.
But if you like them, definitely play them because they all. If your deck does something that cares about one of those things, they seem good. You know.
Yeah.
So that's fun. What do the bobbleheads do? Do they do anything? Do you get a bonus in that stat or something?
Yeah, you get like a +1 or +2 to that stat because I think once you like make your character and everything, those stats are locked in. Yeah. The only thing that you add is the perks, and you can like, I think in Fallout 4 you can change them, but you don't necessarily like make that number go up. But the bobbleheads give you an advantage, and then you can collect them and you can put them at your little gas stop.
Cool.
Yeah, super fun. I'm really excited for this. I think it's a lot of fun.
I am too. And if you're excited about it, you should comment on this episode or tweet at us and tell us why you're also excited about it.
What's your favorite bobblehead? What's your favorite card? What are you most excited for? What's your favorite Fallout game? And did this get you into Fallout? Don't tell us. Don't comment down below. But thank you for listening. And I think we'll probably catch y'all next time.
See ya.
Bye-bye.